Hello guys, in this video we are going to discuss about the representation of the graph. The graph can be represented using three different techniques, that is the sequential representation in which we use the adjacency matrix to represent a graph. Second one is a link representation by using an adjacency list, and third one is the adjacency multi-list representation. Now we first look at the sequential representation by using an adjacency matrix. Now in adjacency matrix representation we use a adjacency matrix to represent a graph. Now the two nodes are said to be adjacent if there exists a direct edge between the two nodes. Now in the adjacency matrix, the rows and the column are labeled by the graph vertices. The size of the adjacency matrix is equal to the number of vertices present in a given graph. The adjacency matrix can be drawn from a given graph using the formula A of ij is equals to 1 if there exists an edge between the vertex I and vertex j, and is equals to 0 otherwise. Here I and j denotes the row and the column for the adjacency matrix. Now as we can see that there exists only a 1 or 0, that is only two entries are present in the adjacency matrix. That's why that matrix is sometimes called as a bit matrix or a Boolean matrix. Consider the given example. Now for that given example, the number of vertices present in the given graph is 5, that is A, B, C, D, E. Therefore, the adjacency matrix will be a square matrix of size 5 by 5. Here, the A, B, C, D, E, these are the vertices that are present in the graph. In the same way, I have represented the vertices right here also. Now, according to the formula of adjacency matrix, if there exists a direct edge between the two nodes, then we can write A of ij is equals to 1, and if there is no direct edge between the node, then we can write here 0. So consider the node A to A, there is no self path associated with a node A, that's why the cost is 1. Then from node A to node B, there is a direct path from node A to node B, that's why we write here 1, as there is a direct path from node A to node B. Now from node A to node C, there is no direct path, that's why I have written here 0. From node A to node D, there exists a direct path, that's why I have written here 1. And node A to node E, there is no direct path between node A to node E, that's why the value is equals to 0 here. Now similarly for node B, there is only a single direct path which is associated from node B, that is from node B to node D. That's why I have written node B to node D is equals to 1. All the other entries are considered to be a 0. For node C, there exists a single path from node C to node B. That's why from node C to node B, I have mentioned here 1. All the remaining values are 0. Similarly, for node D, there is only a single path exists from node D towards node E. That's why there we have written here 1. That is from D to E, the cost is 1. And E, for node E, there exists a path from E to C, that's why I have mentioned here 1. So in this way, for a given graph, we can draw an adjacency matrix. Now let's see some of the properties of the adjacency matrix. Now for a single graph, the adjacency matrix has 0 on all the diagonals. The adjacency matrix of an undirected graph is symmetric. Why the adjacency matrix of undirected graph is symmetric? Because if a particular graph has an undirected edge, in that case we can travel from, for example, we consider the two nodes, node A and node B, and there is an undirected edge between the two nodes, then we can travel from A to B. In the same way, we can also travel from B to A. The memory utilization or the memory use of the adjacency matrix is big O of n square. Big O of n square, because as we can see there if there are n number of nodes present in the graph, then for the given graph there are 5 nodes available. So 5 nodes on the row and 5 nodes on the column, and all the combination of this, that is the 25, that is n, that is row multiplied by column. Number of rows are n, number of columns are n. So n multiplied by n, the overall memory use of the adjacency matrix is big O of n square. The number of ones in the adjacency matrix is equal to the number of edges in the graph, because we write 1 in an adjacency matrix if and only if there exists an edge between this particular nodes. The adjacency matrix for a weighted graph contains the weight for the connecting the nodes. Now, for example, if this graph is given as a weighted graph, means for example, assume the cost associated from A to B is 4. So instead of writing here 1, we can write here 4. Means in case of a weighted graph or in case of a labeled graph, the weight associated with the particular edge is mentioned in the adjacency matrix. Now let's move to the another method, that is the adjacency list representation. The adjacency list representation makes the use of linked list to represent a graph. There are few key advantages of using the adjacency list. The number one is it is easy to follow and clearly shows the adjacent node of a particular node. Second, it is often used for storing that have a small to moderate number of edges. Means adjacency list representation is better for the graph having the small or the moderate number of the edges. Now, adding a new node in G is easy and straightforward when the G is represented using adjacency list. This is because the particular method, the adjacency list representation, uses a linked list as a structure. That's why it is easy to add a particular node in a graph G. Now, consider for a given graph, the adjacency list is given by here the A, B, C, D. These are all the 4 nodes that are present. I have mentioned here A, B, C, D. Now, the node that can be adjacent to a particular node. Consider for example node A. The nodes that are adjacent to node A are number 1, that is node B, and second one, that is node C. So I have written here from node A we can traverse to node B and traverse to node C, and there is no direct path from node A to node D. That's why I have written here null. Now for node B, there we can travel from B to C as well as from B to D. So that's why I have mentioned here B to C and B to D. For node C, there exists only a single path, that is from C to D. That's why I have mentioned here C to D. For node D, there exists a 2 path, that is from D to B as well as from D to A. That's why I have written here D to A and D to B. This is the case when our graph is directed and unweighted one. Let's take an example when the graph is weighted one. Now consider the same example, but I have associated weight with a graph. Now when the weight is given, the structure of the overall adjacency list is given by here. The vertices are A, B, C, D, E. So 5 vertices. I have mentioned here the 5 vertices. Now from A we can traverse to B with a cost of 4. So I have mentioned here from A we can traverse to B with a cost of 4. Same, from A we can traverse to D with a cost of 2. From A we can traverse to D with a cost of 2. Similarly for node B, we can traverse from node B to node D only. There is only a single node to which we can traverse from node B. So from B to D the cost is 7. So from B to D the cost is 7. Similarly for the node C, D and E. Now let's take an third and the last representation, that is the adjacency multi-list representation. Now in adjacency list representation we focus more and more on the vertex. In adjacency multi-list representation we are focusing on the edges. Now for a particular edge, the edge can be represented using the combination of these 5 different things. So number 1, the first column indicates the single bit field, which indicates whether the edge has been examined or not, means whether we have visited that edge or not. The V of I, that is the starting node, and V of J denotes the destination node, that is the end node of that particular node edge that we are going to consider. Link of I for V of I, that is the link that points to the another node that has a edge incident on V of I, that is our node, source node. Then link J for V of I, here the link that points to the another node that has the edge on the incident of V of J. So we can represent the overall structure for a particular edge using the single way, that is M, which is used to indicate whether we have examined the edge or not. V of I, that is the source node. V of J, that is the destination node. Link I for the V of I, that is source node, and link J for the destination node. Now consider the example. In this example, for example, we consider the edges E1, E2, E3, E4 and so on up to E7. Now for each one edge, we have to represent the edge using a adjacency multilist representation. Consider the edge 1 now. If we consider this, if we compare this with, then here the value of m means the whether we visited the node or whether we visited an edge or not. Here 0 indicate the edge E1 has a starting node 0, edge E1 has an ending node 1. So I have written here 0 as a source, 1 as a destination. Now for node 0, there is a possibility of another edge. Yes, there is a possibility of another edge, that is from 0 there is another edge called as edge E2. So I have mentioned here edge E2 to H2. H2 is from 0. In the same way, there is another possibility for node 1, that is H3. So I have mentioned here H3. Similarly for H2, H2 is between the two nodes, that is 0 and 2. So I have mentioned here between the two nodes, source node is 0, destination node is 2. Now from 0 there exist two edges, one is E2 and second one is E1. Now as we have already discussed with E1, that's why I have mentioned here null, and for E2, that is 2, there exists an edge E4. Similarly for E3, E3 is between 1 and 3. We have already discussed E1, that's why I have written here null, and from E3 we have the edge E4. So I have written here E4. Similarly for the edge 4, 5, 6 and 7. So this is how we are going to represent the edges using the 5 different values. Now in order to summarize the overall structure, I have mentioned a table here. The from vertex 0, if we consider the edges in which the 0 is reflected, so there are only two edges in which the 0 is reflected, that is the edge 1 and edge 2. Apart from that edge, there is no edge where the 0 is reflected. So that's why I have written here 0, that is edge 1 and edge 2. For edge 2, that is for vertex 1 is reflected in edge 1, that is right here, and edge 3, that is on source side. So I have written here edge 1 and edge 3. So for node 2 is reflected in edge 2 and edge 4. So I have written here node 2 is reflected in edge 2 and edge 4. For node 3, the node 3 is represented in 3 different ways. That is, node 3 is present in edge 3, edge 4 as well as edge 5. So I have written here edge 3, edge 4 and edge 5. Similarly for all the vertices that are present in the given graph. Please subscribe, like and share this video.